Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another predictions video, and in today's video I'm going to be predicting the Mendoza versus Fundora fight. If you are new around here though and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do like the video, and let's get straight into it. So, going into this fight, Fundora is 20-0 with 20-1 with 13 KOs, and Mendoza is 21-2 with 15 KOs. This fight is for the WBC Interim World Super Welterweight title. Fundora's last fight was a win via unanimous decision versus Ocampo, and Mendoza's last fight was a win via KO in round 5 versus Rosario. Also on this card is Lee versus Camper, which I think Lee will win via KO in round 6. I don't think this will be overly tough fight for Lee. I think, like I said, a KO in round 6 will be dominant. I think the way the run he's on at the moment, I mean 27-0 I believe, and only 23, it's crazy. And I know this hasn't been the toughest of tests each time, but Camper is a tough test, and I believe he has fought Fundora as well, if I can remember correctly. I might be wrong with that, but either way, Camper's been around and with some good fighters. Obviously, he's probably at the latest part of his career at the moment, but still, either way, I think Lee will dominate and be able to get the victory. But yeah, moving back on to the Mendoza-Fundora fight. Mendoza is a powerful fighter with good movement, physically is strong, he's durable, he can take shots, he has a high IQ, he sets up shots, he fights best in the mid-range, and he picks his punches well. Overall, not a crazily kind of seemingly tough on paper fight for Fundora. The fact that he can take shots would make it interesting to the fact of if he will get him out of there or not. The good movement is and the high IQ is something which is going to have to play a factor in not trying to stay on the inside too much with Fundora, even though he's probably going to force you on the inside in trying to get out of being on the inside, I suppose. And he's also going to have to use that physical strength when he is on the inside with Fundora to be able to maybe kind of maneuver him around the ring. So yeah, I mean, there's a few interesting things there. I mean, he's, like I said, fights best at mid-range, and so yeah, that's not something that Fundora is going to let happen. And so unless Fundora is aiming to change up his game plan of what he normally does or anything like that, then it probably wouldn't be the smartest thing to do, and I don't think he will. So it would be interesting to see, like I said, how Mendoza can get out of the range of Fundora, because like it always is with Fundora, it's so mad how he can fight the way he can fight with being such a tall and long fighter, being able to fight so well on the close range and being wanting to fight in the close range. It's just crazy how he can do it. And so yeah, it means it's a tough test for anybody really. Of course, Mendoza can also struggle under pressure and on the back foot, as shown in his last fight, and also as shown in his losses as well. Mendoza has got losses against Ramos in 2021 and Gomez in 2019. That fight versus Ramos, kind of lost that just because he was struggling under the pressure a bit. Was going on the back foot, didn't really like it, and yeah, that's something that Fundora's going to do as well. And so it's gonna be a tough night for Mendoza. But Fundora as a fighter, of course, he's a long fighter. He'll tower over everybody. He's got solid power, not crazily good power, but it's solid. He'll sit down on his punches well. He gets going arguably in the later rounds, so I suppose Mendoza might be looking for possibly an early kind of flurry if he's got any chance of winning. He's got a controlling jab. He's faced adversity. He's come against knockdowns in the past. I can't remember who he received a knockdown against. It might have been Ocampo. I might be wrong. But he managed to come back stronger and better. And so yeah, he's faced adversity. So even though he can get knocked down, which Mendoza with the power he holds might be able to do, if he can get back up, then he's probably going to be a better fighter than the version he's just knocked down, which is a scary thought, I suppose. Of course, like I said, he fights on the inside, he lets his hands go, he has great combinations, he's fast, he's got a great work rate, and he finds the openings very well. Overall, a very tough fighter to beat, like I said. Them great combinations and that speed, he's faster than you'd think he is. Of course, he is the big fighter, but he's fast as well, and that's something which you might not expect from being able to being as tall as he is. I believe 6'5", might be wrong. But yeah, also got a great work rate and will constantly be throwing. And yeah, so overall, great fighter. The kind of bad things about him, I suppose, he's not the best of starters. He can be a bit of a slow starter at times. He, of course, is a big target, and so Mendoza's not going to have to, or not going to want to try and just aim for the head, because fighters have against Fundora in the past, and that's not going to work out well. Arguably, you just got to hit any part of the body you can hit, really, and just see if that can make much of an impact on him. You're going to have to counter him, of course, and that's something which Mendoza doesn't really like. And I suppose at times he is more open to the body just because of how big his body is. But yeah, like I said, it'll be a tough night for Mendoza. Fundora is, of course, the favourite for this fight, and I think that Fundora will win via KO in round 9. I think when he turns it up, arguably maybe in the later rounds, he's not got a stoppage in a few fights now, Fundora, but I think this fight will be one for him to take, and I think Mendoza will just struggle under the pressure and not be able to handle it. And then, Mendoza will struggle under pressure. I think that's what I said. I don't know if I did. And then Fundora will win via KO in round 9. And it'll be nice to see him get a KO. Like I said, it's been a little while, from what I can remember. But yeah, and then there's a few fights I put here which he could fight. I mean, Ramos is a fight he's coming off the win versus Spencer on the undercard of the Rabasi Romero, if that's right. It might be the plan. I can't remember. Liam Smith, I think that's an underrated option for a fight. I don't know if it would happen because of platforms and stuff like that, but Liam Smith is an option, because if you bank in Liam Smith isn't happening, that rematch, because he might be going to fight Ben, then that fight would be a good option. I think for Smith it'd be a great step up for him, and just to see if he can get back to that world title level, possibly for the last time in his career. It would be very interesting to see. Or Kurbanov, another good tough test, probably in a better point in his career just because he's got the more victories. But yeah, another good tough test. And yeah, that is it for today's video. Hope you did enjoy. Like the video if you did, like the video, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.